Hey folks, would you add a neon rope light to your ham shack if you thought it might raise the noise floor? Yeah, I didn't think so. I think we've all heard the horror stories of cheap LED switching power supplies and bad PWM dimmers. No one's going to take that chance in their shack. Now, if there was an option out there that you knew was clean, would you consider it? I'm thinking you might. You see, when you spend hours upon hours in your shack, you not only want it to be functional, but enjoyable. This is the Neewer NS02 neon rope light, accent lighting you bend and shape into your own custom neon-ish light fixture. You'll often see these types of lights in the backdrops of YouTubers and Twitch streamers. I'm reviewing it as a ham shack accessory, ambiance while you're working the bands or tearing down hardware at the bench. And yes, we will answer that question I know is on all of your minds. Is this thing going to introduce noise in my shack? Well, we're going to unbox it, run it through the various modes, show how I chose to deploy it, and then we're going to sweep it with a TinySA. Fair warning, this is not some certified lab test. This is a practical operator check that anyone can use to evaluate the impact of new gear in your shack. So let's get to it. The box labels this as a 5-meter rope, 16.4 feet. That's plenty for your desk perimeter, backlight for your wall of monitors, or a custom wall design. In the box, you get the LED rope itself, an inline controller, a 24-volt DC wall wart, and a mounting kit. The silicone jacket has a high-quality feel, not the thin, pinch-prone stuff that you find in bargain strips. The spine or backbone of the light is dense but pliable. There's ribbing along the length of the rope that gives it an almost industrial or automotive feel. But in a good way. It feels like materials chosen to last. The power cord runs from the brick about 6 feet to a barrel connector at the inline controller, and then another 3 feet or so to the start of the light. I think it's an excellent design choice. It reduces the hassle factor when installing a custom shape. You don't have this long pigtail in the way, and it gives you a breakaway if the light or power cable gets pulled inadvertently. You're less likely to sacrifice equipment off your desk or yank your installed design off the wall. Neewer includes mounting clips with adhesive pads and screws, so you can install your own custom design. With the rope still coiled up, I worked through the modes to get a feel for how this thing works. The product is well named. It really gives the illusion of a neon rope, not a cheap LED light strip. In most colors, you get a smooth, even glow along the matte white silicone. Only in certain colors and transitions can you pick out the individual emitters. It really does look great. Whites run from 2700 to 6500 Kelvin. In practice, though, this is not a bright work light. It's an ambiance enhancer, a wash of color and fill that makes a room feel finished. If you need concentrated light on a soldering pad or a logbook, you're still going to want a task lamp. The NS02 is about atmosphere, not task work. The inline hardware controller gives you basic adjustments, enough to get going without your phone, but the real capability lives in the Neewer Home app that's available on Android or iOS. It provides richer mode selection, finer control, and those, usual smart light extras. You've got static RGB presets, tunable white temperatures, brightness steps, and animated patterns, things like chase and gradients and color cycles. The animated modes are the eye candy, and they're also what I'm most suspicious of from an RFI standpoint. LED gear leans on fast switching. That tends to cause RFI. Here's how I chose to deploy this in my shack. I've got an overhead camera rig that spans both the operating position and the workbench. I was able to just wrap the light around these fixtures. I like that it doesn't require a footprint on the desk, and it doesn't cause glare on my work, and it gives me this nice, soft, overhead wash of color. On the radio side, it makes long operating sessions more comfortable. The room doesn't feel like a cave. On the workbench side, the idea is the same. I've got task lighting where I need the lumens, like on my soldering station and my parts tray, but the NS02 fills the background with ambiance so the whole layout flows instead of having this jarring, harsh pool of light. I skipped the intended install approach with the clips and the adhesive tabs, and I have no doubt that that will work great if that's your intended use. But the flexibility of this silicone gives you the ability to go off script and do something unique. I'm really pleased with the outcome. It's a non-permanent yet very effective install. So does the NS02 raise my noise floor or introduce new spurs to the ham bands? Now again, this isn't a sophisticated lab test. I'm simply comparing the light off to the light on from 160 meters through 70 centimeters. And I'm using the antenna chain my station actually utilizes. It consists of an antenna to coax to an alpha delta switch to a coax jumper. I simply unplug the jumper from the radio and hook it right up to the TinySA RF port. I maintain the same settings for each comparison on my freshly calibrated TinySA. I have the LNA on, automatic attenuation, 30 kHz RBW, and I'm using a fixed ref level per span. I split the sweep into 3 swaths, 160 meters through 40, 30 meters through 10, and 6 meters through 70 centimeters. Instead of trying to do one impossibly wide shot, this should give us a better view. On animated LED modes, I used max hold in case the PWM artifacts were super brief and fleeting. Here's the comparison for each swath. Now again, I went from off to a single color and then the animated sequence. As you can see, there's no material change as I work through the protocol in each group of frequencies. There's no new spurs, and the noise floor didn't increase in any meaningful way. Off camera, I also ran the telescopic whip that ships with the Ultra, sniffing the wall wart, the inline controller, and the rope at close range. I got the same result. Everything stayed clean. So where does the NS02 land for ham radio operators? On the good side of the ledger, you get 5 meters of high-quality silicone rope with a dense, pliable spine and a quality feel. The rope has a smooth glow that gives you an effect similar to neon. The disconnectable inline controller offers some breakaway protection and makes it just a little easier to install. The snap-in clip system with adhesive pads and screws gives you an ability to do wall designs, but the material flexibility offers off-script options for installation. White light is tunable from warm to daylight to match any existing color temperature needs you may have, but most importantly, there is no radio frequency interference on the ham bands. Now, on the other side of the ledger, the output of the light is truly ambient. It's not bright. You'll want task lamps where you need real lumens. The animated modes are kind of fun to play with, but they're also a little gimmicky. I tend to stick with a individual or static color. This will sync with your Alexa or your Google Home if that's your thing, but it's just not mine. The hardware controller buttons are kind of basic. You'll need to use the app for full control, and that may bother some folks. But all things considered, I think this is an excellent option for folks who want to bring a little pop of color into the shack. All right, folks, links are in the description for the NS02 and the TinySA Ultra if you want to run similar tests in your own shack. If you're looking to dress up your operating position, this is a LED light worth considering. If you have other suggestions, I'd love to hear what you guys are using in your own shacks. Drop me a comment. And if this was helpful, please hit the thumbs up. And if you are not already, please subscribe. Until next time, 7-3.